Buckle up, everybody, because we are diving deep into all the OpenAI news.
It's not just OpenAI news.
Yeah.
It's a tidal wave of announcements.
It really is.
Yeah.
Each one is like, whoa,
Yeah.
like mind blown.
Right.
So we've got real-time API vision, fine-tuning a new GPT model.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start.
The main thing to remember here is that OpenAI is changing the game.
Okay.
They're moving away from just ChatGPT to becoming like this,
Like a platform.
an AI platform. Yeah, like a platform for AI.
So instead of just giving us like the one car,
Right.
they're giving us the tools to build
Exactly. To build our own cars and our own
racetracks.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay.
It's exciting.
So let's break down some of these announcements because, like I said, it's a lot to unpack.
Okay.
Let's start with this real-time API. Because remember how cool it was when ChatGPT got that advanced voice mode?
Yeah.
Like it could actually sound like a human?
Absolutely.
This real-time API is basically taking that tech and saying, okay, now you can integrate it into anything
Yeah.
that you're building.
So now instead of having like a clunky chatbot, you can have a natural conversation with an AI.
So it's not just like
Right.
text in a box anymore. It's like,
It's dynamic. It can understand interruptions, your tone of voice, all that stuff.
so like imagine like language learning apps
Exactly.
where you're like actually talking to the AI
Yeah.
and it sounds like a real person, or like customer service agents.
Right. No more waiting on hold with the terrible music
Oh, please.
just to talk to some robot that doesn't understand you.
Ugh, the worst. Okay, so real-time API.
Yeah.
Check. This vision fine-tuning, is
Sure.
OpenAI giving AI eyes now, or?
It's like they're giving it eyes.
Okay.
So now you can train GPT-4o,
GPT what now?
GPT-4o, on images and text at the same time.
What?
Yeah.
So what kind of sorcery is this going to bring us?
Well, imagine an AI that can analyze medical images like way better than before, or that can help self-driving cars navigate even more precisely, or even design websites with a certain look and feel.
Hold on, they gave an example of this whole website design thing, right?
They did, yeah. There's this company, CoFrame, that helps businesses test out different website designs, and they use this vision fine-tuning to train GPT-4o to create new sections of a website that match the existing design.
So no more like having your website and it's like beautifully designed, and then there's this one section that looks like it was made in 1998.
Exactly, and the results were really impressive.
Yeah.
The AI was way better at matching the style and layout of the website when they used vision fine-tuning.
How much better are we talking?
Like 26% better.
That's huge.
It's a big deal.
Okay, so we've got AI that can talk like a human AI, that can basically see and design websites. Like,
It's incredible.
this is wild.
Yeah.
But this all sounds really expensive to run right.
That's the other big thing about these announcements. OpenAI is making a real effort to make all this stuff more accessible.
Yeah.
So they've been slashing prices on their API.
By how much?
99% over the past 2 years.
99%.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
And they've added some cool features to help with costs, too, like this thing called prompt caching.
Okay, prompt caching sounds like some next-level AI cheat code.
It's actually pretty simple. So you know how in a conversation you often end up repeating yourself?
Yeah.
Well, prompt caching lets you basically store those repeated prompts so you don't have to pay for the AI to process them again and again.
So it's like the AI develops a memory, which saves you money.
Exactly.
I love it.
And then there's model distillation.
Model what now?
Model distillation.
Okay, what is that?
So you know how these large language models are crazy complex?
Yeah.
And they take a ton of computing power to run.
Right, which equals lots of money.
Exactly. So model distillation is all about taking those massive models and creating smaller, more efficient versions that still perform well.
So it's like taking all the knowledge of a supercomputer and squeezing it into like a laptop.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, so how do they actually do that? How do
Yeah.
you distill a model?
Well, they've made the process a lot easier for developers by introducing these cool features called stored completions and evils.
Stored completions, evils. What are those?
Okay, so remember how we talked about prompt caching where it remembers the text?
Yeah.
Well, stored completions is like that, but on steroids.
Okay.
It automatically saves all the input-output pairs generated by the model.
So it's like keeping a transcript of every single conversation the AI has ever had.
Exactly. And this creates this treasure trove of data that developers can use to train their smaller distilled models.
That's amazing. So no more manually collecting and labeling data.
Nope. OpenAI has streamlined the whole process.
That's incredible. Okay, what about those evils? What do they do?
Evils are like a testing ground for your distilled model. You can run custom evaluations directly on OpenAI's platform to see how your smaller model is performing compared to the original larger model, and then fine-tune it as needed.
So it's like a safety net to make sure your smaller model is just as good as the big one.
You got it.
OpenAI really thought of everything.
They did a good job with this.
They did.
Yeah.
So they've made it cheaper. They made it easier to use. But what about the brains behind all of this?
Right.
The GPT-4o model.
Yeah.
What makes this thing so special?
Well,
Is it just GPT-4 with a fresh coat of paint, or what are we talking here?
it's a whole new ballgame.
Okay.
GPT-4o is multimodal.
Multimodal. Okay.
It means it can understand and process more than just text.
Like what?
Images, audio, you name it.
Whoa, hold on a second.
Yeah.
So we're talking about AI that can basically see, hear, and understand language all at the same time.
Exactly.
That's insane. What are the implications of this? Like, what kind of things are going to be possible now?
I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless.
Okay.
Think about it. Up until now, AI has mostly been limited to understanding text.
Right.
But with GPT-4o being multimodal, it opens up a whole new world of applications.
Okay. Give me some examples, because my mind is already blown.
Let's take the medical field, for example.
Okay.
Imagine AI that can analyze medical images like X-rays or MRIs, but it can also take into account the patient's medical history, their symptoms, even the doctor's notes, all at the same time.
So it's not just looking at an image in isolation, it's understanding the context.
Exactly, which could lead to faster and more accurate diagnoses.
That's huge.
Or in education, imagine an AI tutor that can understand what a student is writing, but also analyze their handwriting, their facial expressions, their tone of voice, to gauge their understanding and personalize the lesson accordingly.
It's like having a personal AI tutor who knows exactly what you need.
Exactly.
Wow, okay, and I'm guessing OpenAI is making this GPT-4o model available to developers, right?
Absolutely. They're releasing it through their API.
So anyone can start playing around with this and building amazing things.
Yep. And they're making it as easy as possible with all the stuff we talked about earlier, like the lower prices and the new developer tools.
So what you're saying is that OpenAI is basically handing us the keys to the AI kingdom and saying, go forth and create something awesome.
Pretty much.
This is incredible.
This is an exciting time to be in AI.
It really is. I feel like we need to pause for a second and just let all of this sink in, because it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to process.
So for everyone listening out there who's probably just as mind blown as I am, what's the first step?
The first step is to head over to the OpenAI website.
Okay.
They've got tons of great documentation and resources that explain everything we've talked about in detail.
So you're saying there's no need to feel overwhelmed.
Exactly. Just dive in and start exploring.
I love it. And don't be afraid to experiment, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to push the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
Okay, so we talked about OpenAI's big shift from a single product to this whole AI platform.
Right.
The new APIs, the incredible GPT-4o model, and their commitment to making this technology accessible to everyone.
It's a lot.
Did we miss anything?
I think we hit all the major points.
Okay. But there's one thing I want to emphasize.
Yeah. What's that?
It's easy to get caught up in all the excitement, but we can't forget that AI is a tool.
Okay.
Powerful tool, but still a tool.
Right.
And like any tool, it's up to us to use it responsibly and ethically.
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
Just because we can do something doesn't mean we should.
Exactly. We need to be mindful of the potential impact AI can have on society. Things like bias and AI, data privacy, the impact on the job market.
Absolutely. We need to make sure that we're building a future where AI benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Exactly.
Okay, so as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to walk away thinking about?
If you could build anything with these new AI tools, what would it be?
What problem in your world could these advancements help solve? It's a question worth pondering.
It really is, because the future of AI isn't just about what OpenAI builds.
Right.
It's about what we choose to create with it.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe the next big breakthrough in AI will come from someone listening to this very podcast.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
From our digital ears to OpenAI's digital doors.
I love it.
I love it too. Okay. That's our show for today.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into OpenAI's latest and greatest.
It's been a pleasure.
So they've bottled up this complex process and made it user-friendly. Sounds too good to be true.
Yeah, they've introduced these features called stored completions and evils.
Okay, those sound interesting.
Okay.
Let's start with stored completions. What are those?
Remember how we talked about prompt caching, saving you money by remembering repeated text? Well, stored completions take it a step further. They automatically capture and store all the input-output pairs generated by the model.
So it's like having a detailed record of every conversation the AI has ever had.
Precisely. This creates a goldmine of data that developers can then use to train their smaller distilled models. It's all about making that process as smooth as possible.
So no more manual data collection. That's a huge time saver. What about those evals you mentioned?
This is where the fine-tuning magic happens. Evils let developers create and run custom evaluations directly on the OpenAI platform. They can see firsthand how their smaller model is performing compared to the larger one and make adjustments as needed.
So it's like having a testing ground to ensure their distilled model is up to par.
You got it. And the beauty of it is that it's all integrated into the OpenAI platform. They've thought of everything to make model distillation as painless as possible for developers.
It sounds like OpenAI is pulling out all the stops to make this technology accessible. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the brains behind all of this, the new GPT-4o model. It seems to be at the core of all these new features.
Absolutely. GPT-4o is the engine that powers these incredible advancements.
So what makes GPT-4o so special? Is it just a souped-up version of GPT-4?
It's a whole new ballgame. You see, GPT-4o is multimodal.
Multimodal. Does that mean what I think it means?
It means GPT-4o can understand and process more than just text. It can handle images, audio, you name it. Think about it as humans. We communicate in so many ways beyond just words. Our tone of voice, our facial expressions, even our gestures all play a role.
And GPT-4o can pick up on these nuances.
To a degree, yes. This is a massive leap forward because it allows AI to interact with the world in a much richer, more human-like way. And what's even more impressive is that GPT-4o isn't just tacking on these multimodal capabilities as an afterthought. It's been designed from the ground up to handle these different modes of input seamlessly.
It's like teaching AI to understand the full symphony of human communication. I'm curious, what kind of real-world applications can we expect to see from this kind of technology? We've touched on a few examples, but give me the full picture.
Let's take the medical field, for example. Imagine AI that can analyze medical images like X-rays or MRIs, but also factor in the patient's medical history, their symptoms, even their doctor's notes.
So instead of just looking at an image in isolation, AI can now consider the whole picture just like a human doc.
Exactly. This could revolutionize the way we diagnose and treat diseases. Or think about education. Imagine an AI tutor that can not only understand what a student is writing, but also analyze their handwriting, their facial expressions, even their tone of voice, to gauge their understanding and tailor the lesson accordingly.
It's like having a personal AI tutor who can read your every cue and adapt to your learning style in real time. That's amazing.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The possibilities are truly limitless, and the best part is OpenAI is making these GPT-4o models available through their API, so any developer can start experimenting and building with this technology.
That's what's so exciting about all this. It's not just theoretical. We're talking about real-world tools that are available right now. And if I'm hearing you correctly,
Right.
OpenAI is making sure those tools are accessible to everyone, not just the big players.
Precisely. They've dramatically reduced their API pricing, and they're offering things like prompt caching and model distillation to help developers keep costs down. They're even giving away free tokens to developers who are just starting out and want to experiment with fine-tuning. OpenAI is practically begging developers to push the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
It's like they're saying, here's the key to the AI kingdom. Go forth and build something amazing.
And that's exactly what I hope developers will do. The future of AI isn't just about what OpenAI builds, it's about what we as a community choose to create with these tools.
This is incredibly inspiring. I feel like we need to pause for a moment and let all that sink in. So for all those developers listening out there, what's the first step? Where do they even begin to unpack all of this and start harnessing these powerful AI tools?
The best place to start is by diving into OpenAI's website. They've got fantastic documentation and resources that explain everything we've talked about in detail. GPT-4o, the Realtime API, vision, fine-tuning, you name it.
So there's a roadmap, ready and waiting.
Hmm.
No need to feel overwhelmed by all the possibilities.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to experiment. That's what makes AI so exciting. We're still discovering all that it can do. The more people experiment with these tools, the faster we'll unlock new and innovative applications.
It's like the wild west of technology out there, but in the best way possible. So much potential, so much uncharted territory to explore. Yeah. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here today. We've talked about OpenAI's big shift from a single product to a comprehensive AI platform, the groundbreaking new APIs. They've released the incredible capabilities of the GPT-4o model and their commitment to making all of this technology accessible and affordable. Is there anything we've missed?
I think we've hit all the major points,
Okay.
but there is one thing I want to emphasize.
Go on. I'm all ears.
It's easy to get swept up in all the excitement surrounding AI, but it's crucial to remember that at the end of the day, AI is just a tool.
Right.
A powerful tool, yes, but a tool nonetheless. And like any tool, it's up to us to use it responsibly and ethically.
That's a really important point.
You know, we've got to think about the potential impact AI can have on society.
For sure.
Things like bias in AI,
Yeah.
data privacy,
Right.
the impact on the job market.
Absolutely. We need to make sure that we're building a future where AI benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Exactly. So as we move forward with this technology,
Yeah,
let's remember to proceed with both caution and enthusiasm.
I like that.
Because the future of AI isn't just about technological advancements. It's about building a better future for everyone.
Well said. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of OpenAI, what's the one thing you want our listeners to walk away thinking about?
If you could build anything with these new AI tools,
Yeah.
what would it be?
What problem in your world could these advancements help solve?
It's a question worth pondering.
It really is, because the future of AI isn't just about what OpenAI builds, it's about what we choose to create with it. Precisely. And who knows, maybe the next big breakthrough in AI will come from someone listening to this very podcast.
Wouldn't that be something? From our digital ears to OpenAI's digital doors. Okay, that's our show for today. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into OpenAI's latest and greatest.
It's been a pleasure.